This donuts recipe is literally perfect. They don't get stale and don't absorb a lot of oil thanks to an unusual ingredient. What is it? I'll tell you in the video. I'm Violet. Let's cook with me. First, let's activate the yeast to make the dough fluffy. To do this, mix 100 grams of sugar with 20 grams of yeast. Rub it carefully with a spoon until it reaches a puree-like consistency. The yeast shouldn't dissolve completely, but should turn into kind of porridge. To slow down the staling process and keep the donuts fresh for longer, I add 150 grams of mashed potatoes to the dough. This is a cool life hack not only for donuts but also for any yeast-based baked goods. One more thing, don't rush to pour out the water in which the potatoes for puree were cooked. You will need to add 50 grams of this water to the mess. From the remaining ingredients, I add 1 pocket of vanilla sugar, 20 grams of orange zest, and a pinch of salt for balance. As always, I can do without it. Crack 1 egg. Oh no, another double yolk. What kind of batch is this? But it's okay, the potatoes will bind the dough well. In this recipe, I will use 2 types of oil, vegetable oil and butter. I will need 25 grams of each, and that will be enough. Before the final kneading, mix all the ingredients well with a whisk until smooth. I really love making donuts. They bring back to the pleasant memories. My granny always made these donuts for me when I was a little kid. Oh. Now all we need to do is add flour and finish kneading the dough. Sift 400-450 grams of flour into the wet mass. It all depends on the density of your flour, so sift 400 grams first, and then if the dough is still too runny, sift another 50 grams. While the dough is still runny, stir it with a spoon, and then you will have to switch on manual mode and knead the dough ball well. The final kneading takes about 10 minutes. You need to do this until the dough stops sticking to your hands. The finished dough needs to rise. Lightly grease a bowl with oil. Place my wonderful, fluffy, and incredibly elastic dough in it. Cover the bowl with a food wrap and put it in a warm place for 2 hours to rise. As you can see, the dough has risen incredibly good, doubling in volume and ready to use. I place it on a table lightly dusted with flour. First, we need to divide it into 3 equal parts. Roll each part into a long sausage shape. Then I divide each of the sausages into 7-8 pieces. In total, this amount of dough will make 23 donuts. For the filling, I choose poppy seeds and apricot jam. Took about 50 grams of each. Let's fill each piece of dough and shape them into future donuts. It's very simple. I stretch a piece of dough into a circle and place the filling in the center. Pinch the edges tightly and shape it into a ball with my hands. That's all to do. Don't put too much filling because during frying the donut may crack and all the filling will come out. Also, the dough seam must be pinched as tightly as possible so that the donut doesn't fall apart. I place the donuts on the board covered with a food wrap, leaving a small distance between them, and cover them with a light towel. Why am I doing this? We've disturbed our yeast dough and now it needs to rest, and the donuts need to rise a little in a warm place. A little about the fillings. You can buy ready-made fillings in the store, as I did this time, or you can make your own poppy seed filling by steaming the poppy seeds and mixing it with sugar. These are just some of the filling variations, and there can be many more. Chocolate, peanut butter, caramel, wherever your heart desires. I divided them as follows, made 12 poppy seeds donuts and 11 apricot ones. I put apricot donuts on the board as poppy seeds, covered them with a towel and put in a warm place to rise for 1 hour. The donuts have risen well and we can fry them. Let's start with the poppy seeds ones. Pour about 700 milliliters of frying oil into a thick bottom pan. Turn on medium heat and heat it up well. When the oil is hot, I carefully place the donuts in the pan one by one. Watch out, don't burn your hands. My pan can hold up to 5-6 donuts at a time. When you see a brown rim on the edges of the donuts, it's time to flip them over. When the donuts turn a rich brown color, remove them from the oil and put them on a plate lined with napkins so that the excess oil drains and doesn't remain on the donuts. It's time to fry the apricot donuts. The oil is already heated, so I immediately put the donuts in to fry. Another huge advantage of adding mashed potatoes to the dough is that potatoes prevent the donuts from absorbing excess oil during frying. This means that when eating them, the oil will not be noticeable in the taste at all. Sprinkle the finished donuts with heavy snow. With ice and sugar. Here is the mountain of fluffy, sweet, and incredibly tasty donuts I ended up with. I will be able to eat them for a week or more because the dough stays fresh for a long time thanks to the potatoes in the recipe. That's all for today. More recipes next week. See you next time. Big hug, yours Violet.